So I actually just moved into this condo, 1,000 square feet. I downsized a lot, got rid of a whole bunch of my stuff. And you know what? Do you like this kind of stuff? Pistachio? Ugh, my favorite is maple. I am Canadian. But you would think that I did this mostly for myself, and there's some truth to that. I wanted to simplify my life, but I'll tell you what, the biggest gift is actually to my kids, and I learned that the hard way. So what I'm going to do with you in this video is share with you how I came to this mindset at 58 that I really needed to deal with my stuff at this stage in my life and not when I'm older. And also the little tips and tricks that I figured out along the way, some benefits that I didn't know I was going to actually experience, and also some of the obstacles and hardships about it along the way. It's definitely an emotional journey, but stick with me and I'll share with you what I learned. Hey, my name is Lisa. I am Canadian. I'm a grandma and proud pet owner of 2 cats. They're around here somewhere. Maybe they're going to jump into the screen at one point. They're called Rudy and Rusty. I call them Team R&R. And yeah, I'm a little nervous to do this video because there's some personal stuff in here, but I still want to get it out there because I think it could be helpful for people. So this journey started back in 2015. My mom and my stepfather, they lived on a massive farm acreage bungalows, like 1,800 square feet on one floor. And so they decided they were too old, because mom had me later in life, and they needed to get into a little apartment. So that was a massive job getting them from, there's all the equipment and everything from the farm as well. So thank goodness for my brother, because he dealt with the outside stuff. And then when we moved mom and my stepfather into this apartment, a lot of their stuff ended up going into storage because they just didn't have the room for it, right? Then my stepfather passed away. So now we needed to move mom to basically like a retirement home. And then her Alzheimer's was getting really worse, so we had to move her again into a facility that provided more care. And then we had to move her again into basically what is like a hospice, and it's really like a hospital room. So she went from having that massive house full of stuff and a farm full of stuff down to a hospital room with some clothes and some pictures, and that's basically it. And when I look around at everything, I think, so this is what it whittles down to, eh? This is where we're all headed, right? And it was a big aha moment. And the other aha moment was, guess who had to deal with most of that stuff? Yes, me. So I spent hours and hours and hours, well, not only moving her, but organizing, taking things to, donations for charities, and selling things. And, and here's the bottom line, is that it's very difficult to get rid of a lot of that stuff. I see online people saying, nobody wants your stuff. That is very true. So what I realized is I need to get my poop in a group. I need to make sure that I have basically gotten to a point in my life so that I'm not going to be this massive burden. That's my biggest fear, is I'm going to be a burden to my kids when the time comes. And I don't want that. I have been on the other end of this for 10 years now, and I do not want to do this to my own kids. And I know we think that our stuff is valuable, right? Like, I do have a few things of my father's that I know were very valuable to him. He served in World War II, and so I have a bunch of the coins, the money, the pins that he exchanged with other soldiers. I have some of his memorabilia. I have a piece of shrapnel that actually he found on his bed. He slept, this is his story, that he slept through an attack. I kind of believe it, because the man slept like a log. But he said he woke up with shrapnel on his bed. And there is a piece of shrapnel that I hold close to my heart, and it's in my jewelry box, and I don't know where it's going to go after I pass, but to me, that's something that I didn't want to just throw away, right? And it's small, right? But the thing is that my point is that things may have sentimental value to us, but they're not going to have value to our kids. So what I've come to understand is that even though I want to gift them some of my belongings, my real gift to them is to be organized, to have dealt with my own stuff while I'm still here and able to deal with that, and just made things that when I'm gone, things will have already been dealt with. Because something else I've really learned in my 58 years is how little possessions actually matter. I mean, yes, they give us that dopamine hit. So I'll give you a personal example. In my marriage, we're divorced now, but we had just finished building this house together, and it was very hands-on. He and his family built a lot of it. I painted a bunch of it, and there was a lot of ownership there. And when he and I went out and bought brand new furniture for this place, I mean, that's a dopamine hit. Whenever we buy something, it feels good, right? But just like any dopamine hit, it goes away. And I gotta tell you, in that house, surrounded by all of those beautiful, beautiful possessions and looking out over this beautiful lake, it was, I was postcard worthy. I was the most miserable I was in my entire life. That became a huge aha moment, that it wasn't the surroundings, it wasn't the possessions that made me happy. When I look at these beautiful homes and I go, man, I wish I had this or I had that. And then I have to remind myself, Lisa, you had that and more. And you know what? You were still miserable. In fact, you were the most miserable then than you've ever been. And so when I look back to when I was most happy, I think about the times when they were tough because I was starting all over again. And in fact, the duplex that I moved into, I had zero furniture. I went from having a whole bunch of stuff to nothing basically overnight. And I even slept on an air mattress for the first few nights until some stuff could arrive so I could make a home. So what is it about a condo that appealed to me? Well, it's 1,000 square feet, and which is plenty big enough for one person and her 2 cats. I sound like one of those cliches, oh my goodness, but you know what? It's actually been okay. I will talk about that in another video. And I was determined, man, that I was not going to put anything into storage. So I do not have one of the storage cages that we have underground, like in the underground parking. I was determined I was going to have everything in this condo, and I did. So I'm pretty proud of that. So what did I do in order to be able to go through all of this myself? One of the biggest challenges that I had was getting rid of things that weren't necessarily sentimental to me, but things that I thought represented the life that I was giving up. So for example, my kayak. I really struggled with selling my kayak, but not because I used it so often. I think I was so upset because I was giving it up, because it was really about letting go of what I thought my life was going to be. I envisioned myself, going down the rivers all the time. And since moving back to Alberta, I really hadn't used the kayak. And so I thought, why am I hanging on to something that I haven't used in over a year? So then here's the thing. I got online and I saw that there are one specific company anyway in the area that actually rents their kayaks out and takes you on trips like down the rivers and places like that. So this way I can still have those adventures, but I don't have to deal with the responsibility of housing the kayak and transporting it and things like that. So I saw it as sort of a compromise. I could still kayak, but I just, don't have to deal with all the issues that comes along with having one in your garage. Another thing I discovered is that some of my belongings that I never use, and that was basically a big rule that I used, was have I worn this, used this over the last year to 2 years? And if the answer was no, then I really had a hard conversation with myself. So some of my jewelry I actually gave up too. I found a gold, it's like Canada Gold, I think it's called, in the nearby city. And I went there thinking, you know what? I'm never going to wear this stuff. I'm more of a silvery or white gold kind of person anyway. And so I thought all the yellow gold, except for this ring, because it means a lot to me. So, and to be honest with you, I can't get it off. And then this is a gold band that my dad gave to my mom. And when he passed, I got it. So of course that stays with me, but I wear them every day. So it follows my rule. I still use it. But for the stuff that I don't use, I took it into this gold buying place, not the kind that you put in an envelope and send off because they rip you off, but I actually went to a gold place where they weighed it and everything, and I got almost $1,000 for my gold jewelry. So I was shocked. I was thinking maybe 50 bucks, but yeah, gold is really at a good price right now. So maybe check that out in your neighborhood. The other thing I had never done before was consignment. I've seen it, heard about it, all over the place, taking your clothes to consignment stores, selling them on Marketplace or Poshmark or whatever, right? And so I decided to try my hand at some of this, and Marketplace comes with all kinds of its own issues. What I really enjoyed though was taking my stuff into consignment stores. And my first batch that I took into this one store, it sold everything. Like when I went in there, they're handing me a fistful of cash. And I went, holy cow, I love this. So I went home and I started going through my closets even more. Because again, I didn't want to have to move all, because whatever I didn't sell, I was going to have to move this stuff to my new place, right? And to be honest with you, even though I'm in here, it's still a little more crowded than I would like it to be, including my closet. And I'm still selling things at the consignment store, because once you start getting into that mindset of, do I really need this or do I not? When's the last time I actually wore this? It's amazing how once you start that ball rolling and you're okay with letting go of a few things, letting go the next time, and the next time becomes easier and easier. And less to clean, less to worry about in terms of decision making, and it puts extra money in your pocket. Like, it's win-win to me. And of course, one of the things that I would do is ask my kids, do you want this stuff? Is there anything you want here? And I have to tell you, 95% of the time, the answer was no. Because they're trying to deal with the amount of stuff they have in their own homes. The last thing they want is my stuff adding to the pile. So the only time they said yes was a couch, for example, or some sort of kitchen gadget that was going to make their lives a little bit easier. But let me tell you, everything else, absolutely, it was a hard no. So even though I know that I've made a great first step, and like I said, I've been doing this for 10 years for my mother, and now I'm really focusing on myself. I know that this is just the first step in a process, because as my life evolves, I know I'm going to need less and less of this stuff, because really, what do I really need? I need things just to be able to live from day to day. And what I've come to understand is that I don't need to own these things. I like to have access to them, like the kayak, but I don't need to own these things anymore in order to be able to enjoy them. So yes, getting rid of things that you love, that you have the sentimental attachment to, what you think you might need for that one day, It's hard. I understand it's hard. But I think we need to choose our hard. And I think knowing that leaving a bunch of stuff behind for my kids to clean up after me would be even harder. I do not want for my kids what I had to deal with over the last 10 years. So my friends, I know this is a tough conversation to have, but I think it's so important. And just start small, like start with one room or one closet, heck, even start with one drawer. I did that. There's a couple of drawers in my old bedroom there that were full of, really sentimental things from my broken marriage and things like that, it was difficult. There were a lot of tears shed, but I needed to let them go because they're not going to serve me today or in my future. So why keep them? Why keep things that bring us pain? So I let them go. And at the same time, it's okay to hang on to a few things. Maybe you have one box of things that are just super important to you for reasons nobody else knows, but it's just in that one box, right? And then eventually, 2-3 years from now, you may feel different about what's in that box. Unless you're using them every day, like I am with my 2 rings that are very sentimental to me. In fact, this one, people ask why I'm even wearing it because it's missing its middle stone. The truth is I can't get it off in order to get it fixed. So here's my challenge for you. If this has been something that's been on your mind, do 2 things. First of all, have a conversation with your kids. Ask them, is there anything specific that you would really want? And if they don't, put a sticky on something immediately, then you know that you have free reign. But if they do claim something, then at least you know what to put aside. The second thing is start small. Go into one room. Decide that you're going to just go through one room and what you're going to get rid of. Or even go to a closet or go to one drawer. Just one drawer. And go through it and see what it is that you have not used in this last year or 2 and get rid of what has not been used. Because guys, what I've discovered is that all of this, the downsizing aspect, the downsizing process, is not about getting rid of my past life. It's about making room for my new life. And I hope you can see that too. So I hope you found something in this video that was helpful for you, resonated with you, and if you would mind subscribing and liking this video, then I would appreciate it so much. The other thing too is I made a video about what it was like to retire a bit early. Was it worth it? It's right here, so you may want to check that out. And until then, I'll see you. Have a great day.